Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. Thank you for joining me again. Today I want to talk to you about not being a lazy photographer. Yesterday, I've got to admit, I was a lazy photographer, because yesterday when I should have been out shooting this vlog for you and taking photos, I was sat on my arse watching TV all day. So apologies for that, apologies for the lateness of this vlog. But hopefully you'll understand why I've done it and why I want to talk about not being a lazy photographer. When we are starting out as photographers, or we are just keen amateurs, quite often what we will do is use shooting format of JPEG, and that's a format where you produce JPEG images straight from the camera. And they are a compressed file which still allows you to edit, but you don't have very much control over your edits, so it makes it a little bit difficult to get exactly what you want with the image once you've taken the photo. But also you can shoot with RAW. Now with RAW shooting, what happens there is you create a RAW image with exactly the same data as the JPEG image, but none of that data is being compressed. So you've got much more control and much more power over the editing when you decide to edit the photo, which is a good thing. I've just taken a shot of this tree behind me. In fact, I've taken two shots of it. One is a JPEG file and the other is a RAW file. And the idea is, once I get back to the computer, I will then edit those, and I'll show you the two edits. The first one, of course, will be the JPEG and how much I can edit that image, and then I'll show you the RAW file as well, which has been edited, and then hopefully you'll be able to see the difference and the amount of control I have over editing those images. And it's quite a big difference. It does make quite a big difference with the final image as well. You might not necessarily notice any difference with the RAW and JPEG files when you look on the back of the camera or when you first open the files on your computer. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I'll show you those images now, and I'll show you the original files themselves as they've come out of the camera, and then I'll show you the RAW edit at the end, which obviously will be a much better image, but I'll show you all the edits at the end of this video. One of the other ways that we can be a lazy photographer is by our choice of shooting mode. You find in most cameras nowadays that you've got the option to shoot with aperture priority or shutter priority, and basically what these mean is that you take control of either the aperture or the shutter speed, and then you allow the camera to do everything else. Obviously the problem with this is that you only have control over one particular setting, and that means then that the camera is doing all of the work for you. So I'll show you an example now. I'm going to take a couple of shots of exactly the same thing. I'll shoot one in aperture priority and I'll shoot one in manual mode. And the idea is that I'll show you the difference with how the aperture priority chooses what settings to use within the camera compared to me choosing the settings for myself. So here's a couple of images now. I hope you like these. So I've shown you two images there. The first image was shot in aperture priority mode. It comes up as AV on your mode dial on your camera. That's if you're a Canon shooter. If you're a Nikon shooter, it's just the A mode. I've shown you two images. One is in aperture priority and the idea is that with aperture priority I've chosen an aperture of f4, and then the camera has decided from all of the settings around me what ISO to use, what shutter speed to use, and so on. And that means that the camera has been doing all of the work that I should have been doing myself. And basically that's given me a decent image. However, it's not the image that I wanted to take. It's not the image that I wanted to set up. It's not got the settings that I wanted to choose on the camera. So the second image I've shot in manual mode, and this has allowed me to change the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO settings, all independently of one another to get an image that I wanted to achieve. So I've shown you the images, and I've shown you all the settings with the images as well, so you can see the difference it makes. The images are very similar, obviously, but there are very different settings to them. So I hope you've enjoyed those images. I'm going to move on now and see if I can find something else to photograph. So I've found some bluebells just down to my left here, which I don't know how well you can see. These bluebells behind me just here. There are quite a few patches of bluebells in this area, and these were the evidence of these bluebells was here last Friday when I was here last. They just hadn't started to bloom at that point, so I'm quite glad that they are blooming now, because it means that we've got some images that we can take of these bluebells. But I've just crouched down and got quite low with my tripod to take 2 photos of this to show you how another way that we can be lazy photographers. I've taken one shot where I've taken the shot with fully automatic, Scene Intelligent automatic mode applied, and by doing that the camera has decided exactly what settings to do for me, to use for me, and everything has been set by the camera. So aperture, shutter speed, ISO, colour balance, everything has been set by the camera. I haven't done anything at all myself, I've just simply pressed the button. So that's the first of those 2 images. The second of those 2 images is where I've shot using manual mode, and I've altered the colour balance to bring a little bit of the saturation of those bluebells out a little bit more, and I've also changed the ISO and the shutter speed and the aperture so that I get exactly the kind of image that I want to achieve, rather than an image that the camera has decided is best for the shot. So I hope you like those 2 images as well. I think I'm going to move on now and see what else I can find. Just behind me, I don't know how well you can see it just here, there's a wooden walkway that I'm standing on at the moment with lots of zigzags going through this little nature reserve. So I've stopped here to take a photo, and I've actually decided to focus stack, because I want this area near the front of the image in focus, and then this area here in focus, and then right at the back I want that area in focus as well, because this wooden walkway makes a really nice composition feature because of the way it zigzags through the scene, and it draws your eye towards where you need to be going to. So I really quite like that. But obviously if I was being a lazy photographer, I wouldn't be able to focus stack this. I would just take one quick shot of it and then move on and not really think about what I was doing. So I hope you can see that by being a lazy photographer, sometimes you may get lucky and end up with some decent photos. You may just have a good eye for seeing a decent composition, and allowing your camera to do all the work for you then allows you to speed up your workflow quite a bit. But the obvious problem is it's not your own photo then, it's the photo that the camera has deemed to be the correct photo. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.